Happy Monday. We're talking about money. A Fed chair candidate sees plenty of room to cut rates in 2026. It's good. I'd vote for that guy. Makes me happy. Makes the whole industry happy. Makes the GDP and the stock market and everything happy. I bet you'll see that kind of stuff popping up here pretty quick. December 10th, this was reported on Real Estate News. President's rumored to pick served the next Fed chair voiced support for more rate cuts in 2026 and raised concerns about perceived partnership in the central bank. Again, it goes down here saying he doesn't believe in the politicizing of the federal money. The White House shrugged off a report suggesting Trump may have once committed mortgage fraud. Yeah, okay, whatever. I mean, if there's an accusation, it better be provable before you make that accusation. Otherwise, you're liable. CFPB is our governing body that talks about and manages and regulates how we go to business and how we loan money, etc. On Capitol Hill, the Road Housing Act. Okay, so Fed chair candidate criticizes central bank's politicization. You got to say that if you're going to be on Trump's board. You know, if you're not going to be a yes man, you're not going to. Anyway, Powell's sitting in his integrity. I have no problem with that. I don't like it, but I'm a grown-up. He's doing it to ease tensions on the global scale, on the economic scale. It has nothing to do with his political views. I understand that. Still don't like it. You know, we're all adults. We just have to figure it out. I'd rather have 3%, 4% mortgage rates. We're not going to get everything we want in life. House denies Trump committed mortgage. Okay, so we can go through all that. The whole point I wanted to talk about is Kevin Hassett might be favoring lower rates next year because what we have right now is just slowing the market down. I can tell you that right now. It's preventing home sellers going on the market because where they move really doesn't make sense. If I have a 2.5%, 3.5% rate and I go to a 6.5% rate, it just doesn't make sense to me to do that. Anyway, and to prove that, fix and flip investors are bleeding profitability. Yeah. So on the average, you're looking to make 15, 20% profit on your flip. And most of that comes on the buy side, right? It's like when you buy a business or an investment, you want to buy low and sell high. Over the last years, we've seen that profit peak. And now on the average across the nation, they're saying gross profits of 60,000 in the third quarter were down 68 prior quarter and 73 a year ago. Here's the thing, when you're buying properties, you need to have a good profit margin or else it doesn't matter. It means somebody's going to get screwed. And if you're an investor or a wholesaler or what have you, and you're being a predator on older people and you're telling them $1 million house is only worth 1.5, shame on you. Shame on you. That is not a business. That is thievery. If you take an old building and fix it up and put money into it to make it look pretty again, you do it right, that's okay. That's a good business. But here in the Bay Area, it's so expensive to buy houses, even crappy ones, which we see every day, or every Thursday we see what you get for $1 million in Santa Clara County. There's shortcuts that are happening. I bought a house for my parents last year and we looked at a bunch of houses. A couple of them were flipped and they looked like crap. This one that we bought was flipped, but everything on it was excellent workmanship. So you got to know what you're looking at. If you're going to buy a flip and you're using an agent and they don't know the difference between a crappy flip and a good flip, get another agent. What is that? Cupertino house of the week, $3.5 million. List price decreased. Somebody saw dollar signs, got greedy. It's 1,500 square feet. Where is this? This is right off of Miller and Blaney. Let's take a quick look. Yeah, it looks like it's in a commercial zone. That's why I want to look at it. You're right here, right next to shopping, etc. Location, location, location. I wouldn't buy this one for $3.5 million. Whoever's selling this is desperate to sell it. They're tired. They're headstrong, they're stubborn. This is that plastic crap, the vinyl stuff. And I tell you what, I'd rather spend $3.5 million on a nice house. Willow Glen house of the week on Willow Glen Way, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, not my listing, $1.7 million on market 68 days. Here's the thing, guys, the market's pretty much peaked. Now we can go down, we can go up. We don't know. I don't tell the fortune. I can't tell the future. I certainly am horrible at buying and selling stocks. So listening to me about where the market's going, I don't know. I can have a feeling that the market's going to turn down, which is okay. I'm completely okay with that. because I think it'll reinvigorate the market and bring it back, especially if rates come down. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Those that can afford a $35 million house like this one right here, they're never going to worry about it. They don't care. These people are so rich that if a recession hit, they probably wouldn't even feel it. I mean, they'd see it, they'd feel it. They'd probably like a mosquito bite, right? So it doesn't really matter. Olive tree, and any of these listing agents think that they have hoity-toity and they're also, everybody, oh, I'm the greatest agent because I have a $35 million house. They just know somebody. That's all it is. Real estate is knowing the right people. I know a lot of right people. I know a lot of left people. I know a lot of wrong people. But I don't know $35 million homeowner people. That's just the way it is. I'm okay with that. But I like talking about it because it's nice. This is $35 million, not my listing, Olive Tree Lane, 7-bedroom, 5.5 bath on an acre in Los Altos Hills. You get a whopping 8 pictures for $35 million. That's a great deal. That is excellent marketing any which way you look at it. $35 million, where's the video? Don't ask. All right, everything's kind of coming up to an edge, a plateau, a peak, if you would say. And that means even the velocity of the market is slowing, but we know that. It's in the middle of December, the middle of winter, the end of the year. Everybody's packing up, going into hibernation and focusing on holidays, being with their kids, being with their family. Buying and selling a house is not really the big thing on everybody's head unless, it just happens to fall in your lap. We've had 7 sales this week, 7 sales this last in Blossom Valley. And in Santa Clara County, we had 149. These are closings, though. This happened a month ago. New listings this week. We had 98 new listings in Santa Clara County, and we had 95 go into contract. That's out of 800 or so that are actively for sale. We're close to $19 billion in revenue. We're close to 8,000 units sold in Santa Clara County, but I don't think we're going to beat last year's numbers. Not even in San Jose. Look. Here you go. These are just numbers that I picked out from the MLS. 2023, we sold 3,600. We sold 4,200. This year, we're going to be lucky if we get to 4,000. Same thing with Santa Clara County, 7,100, 8,200, and we'll be lucky if we get to 800. We'll see. My point is, rates being as high as they are preventing a majority of sellers who want to move from selling. When people want to move and they can't really afford it, as a matter of fact, there's an article out that I read, I think last week, about people staying in place and building up or building out, because if your needs change, use what you got. And I'll do another report, I think at the end of next week, talk about the expireds and do a compilation on the ones that expired and canceled.